Good evening. It's Sunday, March 29th, St. Demetrius Greek Orthodox Church. With me on my left is Father Joseph Samaan, and on the right is Dr. Mike Epitropoulos. He is a natural physician practicing homeopathic, chiropractic, and dental?
Functional medicine.
Functional medicine. So we're here to present a program called G.R.O.W. During the time of Lent, we're supposed to grow, we're supposed to extend ourselves. And we've really received an unintended gift by the coronavirus. Now, I know that sounds sort of weird, but this unintended gift is that we've had to look within ourselves. And what an appropriate day to start with this series. G.R.O.W. stands for Get Religion on Wireless. So we're going to start today, and we're going to talk a little bit about the steps we have to take. Just as St. John the Ladder told us, we have to step up the ladder, and each step is going to get a little tougher to go through. We're going to go through just a few things to talk about how we can prepare ourselves as we go into the last half of Lent. Dr. Mike, John the Ladder starts little bitty steps, and the steps get further and further apart, and the icon shows that demons are pulling people off of the ladder, and they fall down. Our hygiene and things of that nature. Give us some of the easy steps to start to ensure ourselves and protect ourselves and secure our future as we go into this battle with the coronavirus.
Tasso is making a very good point in that we want to take these steps of basically harnessing your body's ability to get stronger, and that starts in the gut. And we're going to talk about basic principles, Tasso, of enhancing our gut health, and that involves eating certain types of foods that help your gut produce what are called prebiotic and probiotic bacteria. These are really necessary bacteria that we have to have plentiful for us to fight any type of invader, because 80 to 90% of our immune system is in our gut. So these foods that we would be eating, especially now, especially during the Lenten season, would be fermented foods, we call them. Sauerkraut is an example.
Right.
Refrigerated pickles, so they call the kosher pickles. In the same section in Publix where the sauerkraut is, there's something called kombucha, which is mushroom derivative. The beverage you can find in the juice section. We have kimchi, which is a fermented Korean vegetable, or anything fermented for that matter in vegetable form, and kefir, which is a fermented milk. Plain Greek yogurt. Without all the additives and all that.
Let's talk about when you get your yogurts.
Yes.
For the people who are not fasting from dairy.
Yes.
When you have your yogurt, let's talk about not getting the fat-free and not getting the low
Yes.
fat and getting the real fat yogurt,
Yes.
number one, because it helps the body function better. But number two, when they take out the fat, they have to put in additives, they have to put in sugar for taste. That sugar they put in there is fertilizer to the bad biome, the bad bacteria that we don't want to grow in our body, right?
Exactly right, Tasso. A very good point again. Folks, we've got to eliminate sugar as much as we can. And what a wonderful time to do that during the Lenten season, to give up something that is literally poison, and especially showing up now. We want to keep so strong against this invader, as in any invader, so we want to eliminate the sugar and the processed sugars, the cookies and the cakes. And this is really bringing us to this point. This could be a blessing for all of us, because we're going back to the basics, Tasso, and this is what we were talking about earlier.
Well, the one thing I think we do have in this situation is we do have a situation where we don't have, as Father said a couple weeks ago in a sermon, we don't have a health crisis, we have a faith crisis. And by practicing our faith, we're really going to fortify our health. So we want to talk about that. We want to talk about eating better. And we'll do that as we go through. We want tonight to be a short little teaser to grow. And Father, let's talk about the spiritual part. This is a time where there's a lot of temptation. There's a lot of frustration. Michael mentioned the gut. Now, in my practice, I believe that the brain, the gut, and the immune system are all connected. Mike mentioned that 80 to 90% of the immune system is in the gut. We also know that the second brain is in our gut as well. So now when we look at this, we have to understand that when we have fear strike us, when we don't have faith and we don't understand the forgiveness to be able to start over when we make some sort of mistake, that begins to affect our whole body. So this stress can become mental, physical, and manifest itself in illness at the cellular level. So there's a study done that said they took two groups of people. They fed them the exact same thing. They had them in the exact same situation. What did they do to the one group? They put them under stress. That group, 67% of the more time, got sick and had infection. Why? Because their immune system was attacked, because their stress was taken. So talk about a little comforting of the faith, and how when we practice the faith, if we follow St. John the ladder, how we can begin to grow in this phase for our faith.
Well, these are very good points that you are bringing, and the coronavirus or this crisis or any other crisis at this time of the Great Lent, it should not come to us as a surprise. Every time we come into the Great Lent in our life, either on personal level, parish level, archdiocese level, or worldwide, there are some type of crises that are distressful, distracting, and they create an anxiety within our souls, within our surroundings, and to ourselves. So we always go back to the basics. Now, Dr. Michael talked about the good nutrition and the bad nutrition for the body. There is also a good nutrition and bad nutrition for the soul. And this is a great timing, and this can be a great opportunity for us to practice the good nutrition to the soul, because the anxiety, the feeling of the anxiety many times, or the feeling of stress that we have in our gut, or the feeling of depression or restlessness, is not physical feeling. It's the agony or the fatigue or the hunger of the soul crying out to us through the physical body, telling us, I, your soul, need relaxation, need a break. And what a great time, this is the Great Lent, to feed our souls with the best food, that is the prayer. And that's why we have in those frequent services. Actually, the Great Lent has many frequent services, as many as twice a day, the morning services and the evening services. So having those meaningful, deep prayers that we are having the opportunity, the privilege of being able to stream them, even though we are not being able to come to church, and following them along with our books and reading those godly inspired words, either through the prayers or through the psalms or the prayers, is a good nutrition to the soul, to calm our anxieties, to give us peace, and to give good food.
And Father, a lot of people don't make it to orthos. A lot of times it's you, myself, Michael, Panayoti, and we're the only ones in orthos. But I find that the hymns in orthos are very edifying as well as very calming, because they talk about the miraculous things that saints were able to endure and to do. So those are nice readings, because some people say, I don't want to say the same morning prayer every day. So this is a good way for us to refresh our mind and refresh our hearts. So
actually, this is a very good point, because many of our distractions during the Divine Liturgy, that we find ourselves feeling restless and we cannot stand for that long, or for the endurance of the 1 hour that Divine Liturgy is, because we don't come to the orthos. Coming to the orthos gives us about 1 hour of time to empty our minds, to let all distraction out of our systems, to calm down, and that will enable us to enter into the prayers of the liturgy with more depth and get more benefit. So the Orthodox prayers are not actually the same. They change. Every single Sunday, they change. They are never the same. Some of the prayers are, or some of the psalms are the same, but not the entire service. So this time of calming down and cleansing, if you want, our spiritual system from all distractions will allow us to enter into the Divine Liturgy and get more nutrition, spiritual nutrition from the Divine Liturgy, rather than just coming at the last minute.
And that reminds me of 2 points, Father. When kids come to summer camp at St. Stephen's, we take their cell phones so they disconnect. The orthos is that disconnect from the world. and it's also in the architecture of the church. Because when you come into the narthex, you're supposed to kick off that outside world. When you come through the narthex into the nave, the sit or stand, and to be involved in the liturgy, you're in God's world now. And now it's time to focus on your salvation and your uplifting. So,
You know, fast food is a new invention.
yeah.
How, you know, it goes only few decades back, but the real enjoyment of food always had many courses.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice elaborate meal. So in order to have an elaborate meal at the church, we need those prayers, the first dish, the second plate, the third, which is all those stages of the Orthros and the Divine Liturgy.
And the Eucharist is the dessert.
Actually, the Eucharist is the main
Okay, the other is the dessert?
dessert.
Okay.
And what you do, which I'm not going to say in front of the camera, is a different form of the dessert.
Michael, I want to leave you with one thought, and that is we talked about food. A lot of people during Lent, they get into the pastas. These are processed things. These are processed grains. Let's talk very shortly about a couple ancient grains like ethema and like quinoa that have protein in them, have lower glycemic indexes, and are more natural. Can you talk about that just for a moment? So again, the people are taking care of the system, giving their body easy to digest proteins, so they fortify their body with their food.
You know, during these very stressful times, we reach for comfort foods, as you know, and the processed foods. And these are the foods that actually start to weaken us, especially our immune system. So, Tasso, you referenced these foods, ethma and quinoa. These are combination of protein fiber foods. These are very important to stabilize the blood sugar, because when you keep your blood sugar stabilized, you won't have as much as that tendency as that you want to reach for those type of foods during the stressful time. So this is so appropriate again in our culture during Lent that we would be eating these type of foods that will stabilize our blood sugar and reduce our cravings, make us stronger, strengthen the immune system. And again, these times that we're dealing with are going to help us return to things, the basics that we've forgotten, the ways of enhancing our health and taking time to eat right and pray. Number one, spiritual health. So, you know, this truly is a time of returning back to what's most important.
Yes. So I think we're going to wrap it up tonight and let you know that we're going to talk about a lot of different topics. You can email Father Joseph. If you know our email, we're keeping them secret right now because we're such good-looking guys. You can email us with questions and topics. But we're going to take this greater journey through Lent. And right now, because of the challenge we have, it's going to be called G.R.O.W. Final comment from myself is, Father, Dr. Michael, myself, our prayers and our hearts go out to everybody who is suffering with this coronavirus from the standpoint. The prayers of the church are supporting you. Have faith. The church gives you hope. And when you can, please tune in to every one of the video streaming services that Father Joseph has. We bless you and we thank you for being with us tonight. God bless you all, and we look forward to a great Lent journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.